Siyamthanda. I don't know which press conference I was following because I was following on Facebook other parts of the press conference of General Mkhwanazi, but I didn't hear from his address saying ANC ethics. He said ethics, and he referred to others, even the judiciary. Now that they are ANC ethics, probably I will hear about it in sense ethics, but from his address. Makes great allegations. The president, within 5 days, in response to those, appoint a judicial commission with extraordinary, in a lack of better words, let me underline that, powers, even powerful than Sawbona. Because if you listen to the president carefully, he said that some of the recommendation within a segment of 3 months must lead to action, which is something that has never happened before. Some of the actions that would have come out of the commission within 3 months preliminary report should lead us to action. That's what the president said. Judicial commission with extraordinary powers that is established to respond to General Mkhwanazi. Now, I've seen people of political, a particular party, going, protesting, which is within their right. When General said allegations were made against him, Zuma established a commission of inquiry headed by Mbalula. And that commission decided to fire General Nkandla. He was appointed Deputy Minister of Agriculture by Jacob Zuma as the president. Commission of Inquiry, Judge Mbalula. His decisions were taken on review by General Nkandla and set aside. About a certain building by a certain businessman in Pretoria of the police. He was put under suspension immediately. And now President Zuma was using Section 84 of the Constitution to suspend the National Commissioner of Police. Remember, the Minister and the National Commissioner of Police are the only 2 people, among others, and Treasury, who are referred to by specifics in the Constitution. And then he was put not on leave, whatever, he was, and then General Mkhwanazi was appointed to act. No, not Mkhwanazi. I'm not sure who came before that. It was Mkhwanazi, no? Yeah. It was Mkhwanazi, and then after Mkhwanazi, Ria Piaga was appointed. Ria Piaga was also put aside by a commission of inquiry out of the Marikana situation. Now, that was a judicial commission of inquiry on the police. This commission is much broader. It's going to deal with all these allegations that are made here, that they need to be probed and investigated. So that is how the president has responded to the issues that General Mkhwanazi have raised. Why will the ANC have a problem? believe in our statement, that's what we're saying, is the right thing to do. We are not involved in polemics about whether he's right or wrong and all of that. We are not. I want to repeat what I said last time, that we've got no locus standi as a party to make pronouncements about the correctness or not of what the general have said, because we don't know. Only a credible, competent process can deal with these matters. And then deal with them in detail, as it would have happened even in the past, to enable us to deal with these particular matters. Now, if we prejudice, we pass judgment, and without any solution on the table, you can't. Now, president is a president of the republic, so you've got to look at first, what is it that guides him on matters of this nature? Isn't it the Constitution? He can't do a kangaroo court. President Ramaphosa, you can criticize and say anything. He doesn't interfere with law enforcement. And that's why we say that we celebrate his stance of acting independently and working even today to empower and strengthen law enforcement in the country. We don't think the law enforcement is where we want it to be, like all South Africans, from a point of resource and capacity to fight crime and organized crime in the country. And this commission will help us to deal with very, very, very important issues that General Mkhwanazi have dealt with. So the ANC has not had any issue with the general. Neither is the president in his statement passing judgment on General Mkhwanazi. So what is the protest about? What are we leading people to? What are these people who are protesting want our people to do? What the president should do within the prescriptions of the law and addressing the challenges that he was facing. First, there was an issue. He came back from Brazil, he's gone underground, he's wanted. Now, you must have faith in the leadership, of course. Others knew already that it would lead to this because they studied law and they know what is, when the president look at these matters that are weighty, how is he going to deal with it? Of course, what seemed to be a thorny issue is what is the status of the minister. Others argue, why is the minister not dismissed, and all of that, and so on and so on. But the fact of the matter, there is action that has been taken. And action can be taken on the minister, and anyone can be appointed to act. And President chose to go outside to get somebody who's capable and who's not tainted to oversee this process and ensure that we cleanse South African police service. So there are no guarantees here for anyone going into the future. We have to deal with this issue and allow it to pass and deal with the matters, to the detail how they are raised. General said, a number of things in his press conference that me and you, we've got no capacity or locus standi to argue with or to fight him about those particular issues. One of the issues in the public discourse that was raised was that touch Mkhwanazi, you touch all of us. Now it is becoming evidently clear that as much as South Africans and others are genuine, very genuine about these things that are reported by the general, there are others who want to turn it into a political football. There's an opportunity here. We can make South Africa forget about our problems as a party by using the Mkhwanazi matter in our direction. Mkhwanazi raised important issues. And I dare say, bravely so, and put them in the public. Now, the demeanor and how we raise these issues is not a matter to us as the ANC of a serious conversation. The most important question is to get to the nub and the substance of the issues that the general actually raised. So we don't know about the ANC members that were raised by the general, except MPs in general. So if there are MPs who are implicated in criminality, they must be exposed. And then they must be dealt with in the context of the commission. The Kanita, Feroz appointment. Yes, Feroz will be the Minister of Police. And I've explained that point earlier on that President in his speech did not address the question of appointments. And he will address that issue on the 1st of August. He will address it, including what's going to happen to him. The President will address that issue. The principal question for us is that he is on leave with immediate effect. Commission can go on with its work, and that's it. Even that commission have got powers to even take decisions about individuals as and how they are affected about this matter in the process of conducting its business. That's how powerful it is. And that in itself, if it doesn't define agency on the part of the president and decisiveness, and simply decisiveness is equated to populism, then populism means that SAPS must investigate itself. When we are told by police general top cop that there is a problem here, even in SAPS, how does that such a structure investigate itself? So this commission must actually help us, including those who are affected in SAPS, to respond holistically to how we must address these matters. And this will not be the end of commissions, actually, in our country. Commissions are necessitated by substance and material conditions. And all the people who have listened to, who are criticizing that there must be no commission, they provide no alternative. Now, the president has responded. Isn't it maybe they thought that he will not? Because others argued that no, he will not do this because of that and that. There are many things that get to be said through the media channels and so on. And you guys, you know better because you interact with a lot of people we don't interact with. But at the end of the day, we are not guided by that. The president can't be guided by that. He must be guided by the principle of how do we intervene when we are faced with matters of this nature that affect not only the integrity but the security standing of our country. To an extent that a policeman and a woman in the streets, these allegations can affect them. That we are busy here fighting criminals, our bosses are dining with them. And that must be a concern, not just a concern. A head of state and the president must take steps. And that is why, as the ANC, right from the onset, we placed this matter on the doorstep of the president to handle this particular issue. Now we've got that particular response. So I'm just saying that Feroz can, not Feroz can. No, I was in the police and dealing with many Ferozes. So Feroz Kachalia. So Feroz Kachalia will be appointed Minister of Police. No, I can't tell you about anything. I'm no longer in the police, so I'm just confusing things here. Mkhulu's role in the ANC. Comrade Senzo is a member of the NWC. He's a member of the NEC. There's no curtailment on those roles. We in fact expected him to attend the meeting yesterday, and he gave me an apology, and I told him that I need to sit down with him, and that this absence of leave, we are not affected by it as the ANC. His absence of leave is in relation to his point of deployment. So we will straighten up issues, we will come to it. He must execute his task as a leader of the ANC, and then he must respond to what the president have decided in government. There is expected to respond in terms of this area and the accusations and the allegations that are made against him. There's a commission, judicial commission, where now all must then respond to it. That's it. We've had many stories. Individuals, criminals, groups, others are in jail, others outside, and all of that. No more TikTok commission. We don't want TikTok, we want commission. And that commission has got powers. You go around saying things, they will subpoena to deal with you in terms of that commission. Where does the ANC stand with Mkhwanazi? Mkhwanazi is a policeman officer of the law who have raised issues that are attended to through the Judicial Commission. We've got no issues with General Mkhwanazi. We believe that the president acted, and we've been assured that from a security point of view, in terms of the issues that he has raised, to an extent that it can threaten his well-being and all of that, the police have assured us that he's been secured. And the security has been increased around him and so on, given the veracity of the issues that he has raised. But that's where we stand. We've got no issues with General Mkhwanazi. If there are issues he's got with individuals in the ANC who happen to serve in parliament, for the first time I hear from you, anizitsho izinto kungaqhumi thula. So kutsho ukuthi khona into eniyaziyo. So sendinixelela nangoku ukuthi uba likhona ithule linjalo, into kuthiwa kungaqhuma kubasiwe. Uyabona? So if ikhona into enjalo eniyaziyo nina thina singayaziyo silapha eluthuli, the same process would be followed about those individuals and all of that, which I've never heard the general in the Facebook. I was listening to him from beginning to the end. I never heard him talking about the ANC. Thank you very much.
Tunes is my name. Welela News. SG, after the presentation of the president on Sunday before the masses of the country, within 24 hours, actually there was a mixed reaction, but within 24 hours, boom, the acting police commissioner, Freddie Kegan, he escaped the attempted hijack. Veteran Mavuso Msiman, he made a comment about those that in PAR, after they've been named by the Zondo Commission, meaning that he was responding to the commission that will be taking place. What will be your response on that one?
Sorry, what is it? What did you say? Can you repeat again about
Oh, he was saying, he was raised a concern about those that they are in PAL after they've been named by the Zondo Commission. They are still in Parliament. And now there's another commission again. The Alter and Albertine Sisulu Foundation issued a scathing statement condemning President Ramaphosa with his response to the crisis of the crime and corruption in SA, demanding his immediate resignation. In all this, where is General Sibia? Because his name was spelled by Mkhwanazi. The president said nothing about him, and Sibia, he responded when his name was mentioned by Mkhwanazi. He made a statement the same day, and he was saying that he was mandated to do what he did, or to remove that task team in KZN. Masamula, he also responded, he said, it was not me, not me. So now, in all this, where is General Sibia? His business as usual, if maybe you can respond on that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Mawande. I work for the Sunday World. Mr. Mbalula, probably, I see you want to say something, but you are not saying it. Maybe let me push you there. Around Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, what is your political characterization of him? Leave the legal jamboree, what, all these other things. Because to be quite honest, humbly so, for some of us, he has now fully firmly placed his foot in the political terrain. If you study his movements carefully, as you say yourself, there's MK machine, people calling, saying things will happen if he is removed. What is your political characterization of them? And leave those legal jamborees that we are talking about. Two, let us, okay, before I get there, what is your comment on the links of the incoming acting police minister, Professor Kachalia, to the Brandhurst Foundation, which now appears to have its tentacles in all the governments in the SADC? It is now a fully established fact that Professor Kachalia has links there through your very own former Deputy President, Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe. What is your comment there? Number three, let's zoom in again on this Mr. Brown Mokhotsi, who was at the center of the press briefing by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. What is your view on the links of the man, Mr. Brown Mokhotsi, to the president of the ANC, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, through the CR17, which is also now a fully established fact? There is also another emerging connection to the NEC member of the ANC, Mr. Bejani Chawuke, as well as the Minister Senzo Mchunu in his capacity as an ANC leader and his presidential bid for 2027, as well as the presidential bid of Mr. Patrice Motsepe. Those are ANC issues. They have nothing to do with the state. What is your comment on that? And then on Mr. Brown Mokhotsi, yourself, Secretary General, Mr. Mbalula, do you know the man? And if you know him, how do you know him? Do you know him now or historically through your other roles that you have played in government? Finally, do you know of any ANC politicians who are on the payroll of Mera accused Mr. Vusiket Matlala, whom we are told is also handling a lot of politicians across political parties? But let's focus on the ANC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Usipamandla Koke from ENCA. Mr. Mbalula, you say the officials in the NWC met yesterday to deal with other important matters, and the matter of Senzo Mchunu was not really featured there. Don't you think in hindsight this matter is important? Yes, your Integrity Commission has not met with him, but don't you think, based on the nature and the seriousness of the allegations and the fact that this has got a potential to bring your organization into disrepute, don't you think those structures or the officials of the ANC ought to have met with Mr. Mchunu by now? My colleague touched on the issue of Shedrack Sibia. He has been placed on special leave. Can you comment on that? Yes, it's the matter for the police, but it's why we are here, because of the allegations that were made by General Mkhwanazi. Is the NEC meeting postponed because it was clashing with the Mandela Day? Our sources are telling us that most of your deployees were going to be all over the country on Mandela Day. That's why you decided to basically cancel or postpone the NEC meeting. And also, what is your take on what is going on with the Minister of Higher Education? The President has asked her to submit a report, but the rumblings and the pressure continues on her conduct in Parliament. What is your official position as the ANC in that regard? There are calls for her to be axed.
Yes. Okay. No, thank you very much. My name is Lunga Mzangwe. I'm from the Mail and Guardian. SG, for me is that some in the ANC view Mr. Mkhunu as being an ally of the president. Is this the reason that the president is kind of treading very lightly on him? And also with Minister Nkabane, because they're from KZN, both of them, is the view that the ANC maybe is trying to please those in KZN to ensure that the president still supports, still enjoys support in that province. And number two would be that if you are saying you are keeping Minister Mkhunu in the NWC, which is basically the working committee of the ANC and in the NEC, did then the president bow to public pressure on this issue? Because if you are keeping him in the same structures that really decide on what happens in government, is that the case then that he bowed to public pressure? And from what we are hearing is that Brown Mkhwanazi is a member of the ANC. Is that someone that you could be considering to call here in Lutuli House, maybe to account as an ANC member? Thank you.
Has been said that we are now going to have two people earning a salary of a police minister because there's no extra portfolio in the cabinet. So if Minister Mkhunu is on special leave with his benefits that include a salary, the new minister, I doubt he would be volunteering his services. Is that the precedent that we want to set? Will it be sustained? You know, I thought you missed that part of the question.
Welela, Freddie Kekana, the hijacking that happened yesterday. South Africans are subjected to criminality of this nature on a daily basis. And in this instance, it is the police. And a very capable general of the police, Tatekeka. We are very happy that he escaped unscathed, and the criminals, whatever the attempt they were making, they failed. That's a very honorable man, serious crime fighter, people in Soweto and in Kagiso and all those areas. They know it very well. That's a proper cop. So to simply take that event to the current situation will really be quite simplistic. And in this particular instance, crime happens to everyone, and it even affects even those who are fighting crime. So I think we need to leave it at that point, where in which law enforcement must deal with the matter. But we are very much elated that he survived that attack. Because if anything would have happened to him, the fight against crime would have been poor. Because he's a well-known police general who gave it his all in the fight against crime. I'm telling you, in Soweto, all those areas, they know him very well. people named and all of that. The process of the commission will be able to deal with the question of individuals who are named or who have matters to answer for the commission. And that's what this process is going to be about. If you are named and you are implicated one way or the other, the commission then enable us all to get to the deeper understanding of the role of these individuals. That is really what is important. Now, the Sisulu Foundation, like any other entity or person, is entitled to its own views. However, what the foundation is agitating for, we believe, is lawlessness. Because a situation where the guillotine must fall on the heads of those with allegations leveled against them without any due process, something which is unheard of. The statement of the foundation uses an important word in relation to allegations leveled against Comrade Nkandla, the word of the accused, quote unquote, accused is in the door. And South Africa is a constitutional state founded on the rule of law and human rights, which we believe any person who's accused of wrongdoing must be subjected to due process. And which is what the president have done. We have responded. The president have responded to what is before us as a nation, including in as far as it affects the minister. So the minister will not be in any position to preside over the police force in which his name has been brought into question by the high-ranking police officer. So the Audi rule is applicable to every citizen, that you must listen to the other side in terms of the accusations that are actually leveled. The Walter Sisulu Foundation seems to be overzealous on dealing with the president and the substance of the matter. Their game plan is not what we are facing, is to deal with President Ramaphosa. And I don't want to dwell on where I think this foundation comes from and who's behind the foundation. So let's leave it there. Let's address the principle that their statement is misplaced and is overtaken by events. It would have been relevant if the president had not done anything. They don't pronounce on the inquiry. They don't give alternatives as to what must then happen. They don't. They don't pronounce what must then happen. Here am I, I'm the president of the country. What guides me as the president when I'm faced with a situation that one of my high-ranking police officers says that the police force is wrought with corruption and syndicates and all of that? What do I do when I am presiding over government in a constitutional state? The Constitution guides you with regard to that. How you basically intervene on a matter like that, and which is what the president has actually done. Sunday World, how do we characterize Comrade Mkhwanazi? We have said that the matches that we have seen, we're hoping for something. Looks like calling that we support General Mkhwanazi. I've not seen any citizen anywhere else who has not been in support of Mkhwanazi. Um, how you characterize him is not a question of characterizing politically or otherwise. Uh, if you've got issues about his behavior, there's a commission. You can go there and charge at him that you think he behaved uncharacteristically. So I followed the press conference of General Fani Masemon, and he defended his general and said that he was addressing matters that are in his purview. So should anyone seek to question the protocols of the police, those matters must be ventilated in the commission. From the side of the ANC, we don't think that the matters that General Mkhwanazi raised borders on politics. We believe that they are so serious that they border on criminality, and they border on unsettling stability within our state security apparatus in the country. That's what we must deal with. So that's what we're dealing with, and that is our. We support the response of the president in terms of this matter, because we are a country that is about the rule of law, and as the ANC, even within the concept of the National Democratic Revolution, we believe in the rule of law. There is no state without the rule of law. You can go elsewhere in the world. I don't want to mention countries. Let this press conference turn into something else. But you can go where there is no rule of law. That is the Banana Republic. One of the things that our country, with all the challenges we are facing, we pride ourselves on the fact that we are a country that does not only embrace but have right from the beginning ensured that build state institutions to uphold the rule of law in our country, which over time these state institutions have been weakened. And that is why the commission, and we are able to illustrate what the commission is able to do. Yes, of course, people are impatient. People supported the Zondo Commission. They are impatient, but we provide the facts still that there's a lot of work. Billions have been frozen. The Guptas have run away. We want them back. It's difficult to get them out of the Dubai dungeon, wherever they are hiding. We want them here to come and account. But all their assets here, we have taken them away. They are frozen. This thing was going on and on unabated, but it has stopped. But it must stop for good. And state institutions, we cannot forget the country where we come from, not all over must be strengthened. It's painful for all of us to see a state prosecutor on television and say that I'm not strong. Okay? Then the criminals are involved. It's painful to see a general of the police says, look, I'm faced with this situation, and this is what we're faced with. And our country can't fold arms in relation to that. And our president demonstrated that it is the country first that matters, and the protection of the rule of law. That's what President Ramaphosa has done. Whether you like it or not, others don't like it or not, but they will be seen for who they are. Populism. We are addressing a problem here. Other people are calling to go to the street. We have not finished the anarchy of July riots, which was in vain. Again, it was about the rule of law. One person holding the country at random. And when the state responded to that, it became personal. Ramaphosa versus this one. Undermining of the rule of law. They want to repeat that today using Mkhwanazi. They want to repeat that today. And I remember Mkhwanazi saying that he didn't know that ministers love alcohol so much and so on. He had to go and defend alcohol. And there were reasons for that anyway. But the fact of the matter is that even then, the major issue there, when people were running up and down in the townships, the issue was the rule of law. That's why the president attended this matter and elevated this matter to this level, so as to deal with issues. So why would we attend General Mkhwanazi and use political polemic to characterize him as though we have run out of ideas? We can't do that. We are addressing what he has raised, and we are attending to that. And that's what is important. Any diversion that seeks us to do something other than what we're supposed to deal with, it's anarchy. We will just be allowing these people who are hell-bent on promoting and running the country down on anarchy to just do as they wish. You know, I've mentioned President Zuma deliberately in this press conference, which is not the intention, because I've had people who support him in the streets and marching with clad regalia of MK, which is camouflage, saying that they stand for the rule of law. Where were these people when the state intervened decisively to get rid of Fikile through the Muloi Commission? Where were these people when we had dealt with Marga? Ria Piaga had to be guillotined out of the police. Where were these people when we had to deal with Nkandla, who was running amok, state being undermined in terms of the rule of law and all of that? I was at the helm of the police. I dealt with that decisively, put him in the streets, because the rule of law is the rule of law in this country. Where were these people? I'm saying to you, this is nothing else but political opportunism seeking to use a genuine, not even concern,